This car in 1964 at the World's Fair in New York. It was going around the circle. When the rest of the world didn't even have cars yet, we had a jet car. So it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. Idles at about 22,000 RPM. Smooth, quiet, runs on any fuel that burns with oxygen. When they took it to France, they ran it on Chanel No. 5. When they took it to Mexico, they ran it on tequila. It runs on diesel, just about anything that burns. The only thing it can't take is leaded gas. But Chrysler built 55 of these, and they asked people to write a letter why I would want to drive a turbine car. They got 25,000 entrants. And they had the general public do the R&D. They gave it to teachers, truck drivers, lawyers, students, retired people, and they had to keep a diary every time you filled with fuel and what your experience was. Imagine sending the public to your R&D now, and it was pretty amazing. It was pretty quiet. It's quiet, it's smooth. It's an amazing engine. You've got these regenerators here that use the heat over and over again. You know, they would say stories that would set the grass on fire, but this actually runs cooler than a piston engine, because what these regenerators do on the outside of the turbine, they recirculate the heat over and over and over until it's actually less temperature high than an internal combustion engine. But yeah, it was designed by the same guy who did the Thunderbird. This is sort of a personal luxury car, drum brakes. Nothing radical other than the power plant. Torque flight transmission without a converter. I've had it for about 15 years. I always wanted one of these, and I just thought it was the coolest car when I was a kid, so. Oh, here we go. Hey, question? They're all the same color. They were all turbine bronze. 55 cars were built. And when they realized in 1964 the new emissions were coming in 68, there was no way to get a turbine to clean up, so they ended the program. And they couldn't give the cars away. Yeah, almost all of them were crushed. Only 6 were not crushed, and this is one of them. Yeah. But yeah, it's an amazing piece of technology. And it's not so futuristic as to look crazy, you know, it's not no bubble roof or any of that stuff. It was supposed to be a personal luxury car. Gas mileage wasn't bad, not as good as a gas car, but not bad. Performance is about on par with a 318 Chrysler. You know, so it was fast enough, but the thing is dead quiet, smooth, and the minute you started it, you got instant heat right now if you turn on the heater. Just, all right, that's it. Now you're toast. Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, they're pretty cool. This is original paint, original roof, everything is original. I just put new tires on it. Are these here? Just a styling exercise. There's a tunnel down the front, and people think that it's like some sort of jet. Nothing. It has a lot of jet airplane cues in it, but this is your air cleaner. If you ever been to an airport, you know how noisy a plane is, so that air intake literally goes up, down, around, just to keep it quiet, yeah. But yeah, it's an amazing piece of technology. And his dad is the guy who did the original deal with Hublin, the guy from Chrysler. And then his dad left Chrysler and started Williams International, which of course builds turbines for everybody. And it's all done here in Detroit with locally made parts and locally made labor, right? Yeah, there you go. Yeah, very cool, very cool. Any other questions?
How long was the rebuild process, Jay? How long did it take?
Well, I didn't think it would ever happen because the technology is gone, you know? And when the Chrysler guys broke up the program, like I said, we found 60 guys all over the age of 80.
Wow.
One was 94 and sharp as a tack, and these guys did not throw out their, you know, Chrysler said destroy all blueprints. Nah, nobody does that. So you take it all home. And they were able to recreate it for me. We couldn't have done it without those 60 guys. I mean, it was like the movie The Cocoon, you know, where all the old guys went, yeah. I mean, it was great. It was great. It was really, and they all did it on a volunteer basis. We just paid for the parts and labor. I mean, we had to make tools to make these parts, you know. So it's great. You see how quiet it is. Dead smooth. They used to balance a nickel on it while it was idle. Anything else? Any of the promos? Oh yeah. They did promotional models and yeah. I've got a bunch of those. Huh? The white one was in the movie. Yeah, James Down.
Thanks for everything.
Oh, thanks. What was it called? Not the.
Made a parkway back in
What is it? Lively Set. That's right. And you see them racing the turbine car through the desert. You know. Yeah. But pretty cool. But they really thought this would be the future because it's quiet, it's smooth. It's just jet engines are extremely expensive to build. That was another secret. The metallurgy for this was not good enough for aircraft, but better than automotive. So it just cost too much per engine versus making a Hemi or a 440 or something of that nature. But it's still an amazing feat. And to this day, it still sounds like the future. You turn the key and boom. Yeah, you're idling at 22,000 RPM. Try that with your 440. Yeah. It's like an alternative fuel, like that one there. There you go. That's electric. This one is.
What's a quarter mile?
Huh? Quarter mile is exactly about the same as a 318 Chrysler. It wasn't a performance car. It was supposed to be a personal luxury car. That was the idea. And it was extremely practical. You know, if you see the GM cars in the period, they have bubble roofs and they look like low-flying aircraft, which is not really feasible. Whereas this is something you can actually drive every day and use as a normal vehicle. So it was pretty amazing. And pretty good looking too. I think it still looks reasonably contemporary.
How often do you get to take it out and drive it when you're at home?
When I was at home, I drove it all the time, and then about 6 years ago, the engine just melted down, and I called Chrysler, and there's just no parts, nothing is left. Not even the history of how it was built. I mean, just nothing. You know, people just move on. You know. So tracking down those guys who all live around here, pretty amazing. Pretty amazing.
How many cars do you own now? Which one? How many
cars do I own? You sound like my wife. So.
Yeah.
No, honey, you remember this one, honey? Oh, boy. It's cheaper than hookers and cocaine. When you come home smelling of transmission fluid, they know where you've been. So it's not, you know. So no, it's. I got 208 cars on the road.
How many are Mopars?
Mopar, quite a few. I'm a big fan of the. I got a 34 Imperial Airflow. I got a 56 Imperial, 58 Imperial convertible, 67 Imperial, a couple of Hellcats, a Demon. I like Chrysler stuff.
What was the sticker on the car when it was offered? And what did you pay
What
for
was
it?
the sticker on this?
Yeah.
Well, there was no sticker because Chrysler just built them and then gave them to people. So it would have been expensive. Back in '64, if a Cadillac was $5,000, I'm thinking this would probably be closer to $600 or $6,500, and they probably would have lost money. It was one of those projects like when Ford built the Continentals in the 50s. They lost $1,000 in every car they built just because $10,000 for a car was crazy. You paid that for a house, you know. So there was never any sticker on these, but the sticker to rebuild it was not inexpensive.
Don't ask, don't tell.
That's right.
What do you think it's worth today?
I don't know what it's worth. I get a little tired of what stuff's worth. I mean, to me, it's fun to have. I enjoy it. You know, that's a fairly new thing that a car is supposed to go up in value. You know, you buy it because you like it, and if it's worth more, well, that's great. But I don't care because I wouldn't sell it anyway, so it doesn't matter to me what it's worth. You know, I really enjoy this stuff. I don't like guys that speculate and stuff. You know, you buy it and you have it, and it's worth what it's worth. I guess. Anything else? I still got the jet bike. Yes, sir. That has a C-18 Allison out of the Bell Ranger helicopter. And when I never thought I'd get one of these, so we built a car called the EcoJet. which is a Honeywell LT101 engine, carbon fiber. And when I finished that, this thing came up with it. No, so I got to get the real one. So I did.
How'd you get hooked on cars to begin with, Jay?
Oh, you know, I grew up in New England, and when you're a kid in the '60s, you're expected to fix snowmobiles and lawnmowers. And my mom had a Valiant, and she didn't know anything about cars, but she knew she took out the round things, stuck a screwdriver down the smaller round thing, and kept that flap open. The car would start, you know. So, I mean, cars now, you don't really need to tinker. You can't tinker, really. I mean, this is your toolkit now. You know, you just call it flatbed. Wow. But that's where I love this era.
All right, guys. Hey, we're going to go ahead and take a moment. The rain's going to start here. We're going to get a photo with you.
Sure.
So the challenge. One last question for you.
Yes.
I mean, this looks like the future, but what about the future here? What do you think of the Charger?
Oh, I like the Charger. I'm a big Mopar fan. You know, when I was a kid, Chrysler was always the engineering company. Is this the electric one, right? Yeah. Very nice.
Looks good. I didn't see that.
What have you?
Okay. Here, that'll do that, and then I'm going
That's over here on the side. George, I'll take this.
On the side, take a picture of the car.